Jose Orquesta and welcome to Fantasmalaya. Today we are going to tackle a topic on programming which is a function. We call it function. So by definition, a function is a subprogram that acts on data and often returns a value. So large programs are generally avoided because it is difficult to manage a single list of instructions. Thus, a large program is broken down into smaller units known as functions. So, a function is a named unit of a group or program statements. This unit can be invoked from other parts of the program. So, in other words, it's like you are going to solve a big problem. So that big problem, in order to solve that big problem, um, break you have to break that big problem into smaller pieces, and then slowly solving the smaller piece of that problem. That is a what we call function. So why it is a good practice to use a function. As per definition, again, the most important reason to use functions is to make program handling easier, as only a small part of the program is dealt with at a time, so thereby avoiding ambiguity. Then another reason to use function is to reduce program size. Functions make a program more readable and understandable to a programmer, thereby making program management much easier. So, kung iisipin natin yung program kibali, is a series of instructions, a series of commands, right? A series of actions. Now, isipin nyo na lang yung isang action dun is kailangan nyo siyang paulit-ulit na gawin. Kailangan nyo siyang paulit-ulit na i-perform. And then, if you are going to perform that specific command in a thousand or in a million times, then think how much space you need for your program. Think how many lines you have to code for that program. Okay? But if you are going to put that in a function, that function will act as a certain part of that program which you can reuse without having to rewrite the code. So kailangan mo na lang siyang tawagin, kailangan mo na lang siyang i-invoke. So, magagamit mo sa any part and any part from any part of your program without having to actually rewrite the program or the code. Hindi mo siya kailangang i-code ulit para lang mag-function ng ganun. Tawagan mo na lang yung ginawa mong function before. So, yung mga instructions and commands na kailangan mong gamitin ng paulit-ulit sa isang program. So, para mas maintindihan nyo yung function, gagawa ako ng isang program which will implement a function using a Turbo C++. We are going to use C++ programming language, and then try natin na i-perform o gumawa ng isang halimbawa ng function, kung paano gamitin sa function. And then by doing that, we are going to explain further kung bakit naging mas maganda yung program kapag may function o kapag wala. Okay? So to clearly understand the concept of a function, I will create a simple program to compute the area of a circle using its diameter as input. Okay, so I will use the Turbo C++ compiler. Then in the previous semester, we are using the CXX Droid for Android. It is an Android application for Android phone. And then you can still use that application, the CXX Droid. It's just that I am using a computer while doing this demonstration, this simulation. So I'm going to use the DOSBox for creating a program using the C++ programming language. And I'm using the DOSBox 0.74 of the Turbo C++. Okay, so first I'm going to have and a header, which is the include IO stream that each, then the sharp include. So I need the con IO that each header. This because I will be using um, the clear screen and the gitch. So without this header, I could not use the gitch function and as well as the CLR ACR function. Now also the purpose of having the clear screen function and the gauge function is that the clear screen will erase the previous execution of the program. So when I try to run this program, it will display an output in my screen using the black background and white foreground. And then if I don't have this clear screen, this code, when I rerun the program, it will add into the previous screen result. It will just add up in the screen. That might create a confusion on the actual output of the program. So I have to erase the previous output. So for example, to demonstrate the purpose of that clear screen is if I have here a hello, let's try this one. Then I will remove the clear screen first. Okay, as you can see, I did remove the clear screen and then I will run this program. There you can see the Turbo C3 PNPC and then the hello and if I rerun this program again, you will see that another hello is added to the display and then so on. As long as I'm going to run this program, it will add a new hello. So that will mix to the new result and it might create confusion to the actual output of the program. So what we are going to do is to add the CLR ACR function to this program so that it will clear the previous screen. As you can see, if I try to run this program, you cannot see the previous result, the previous number of hello and then the path where the compiler starts from running. Okay, and then also the purpose of Git is to make a pause in the output. If we don't include the gauge function in this program, if I'm going to run this program, we will not able to see the output since it will just blink and then close the output screen. So to make it stop or pause in a number of seconds, or it will wait until we supply the enter function of the keyboard, we have to add the gauge function to this program. As you can see, if I'm going to run this, it will pause. It will wait until we supply the enter function of our keyboard until it will go back to the actual code. So that's the purpose of having the CLRACR and the gauge function. Now, if I don't have this ConIO header here, but it will create an error. As you can see, there are at least two errors. It will say function CLRACR should have a prototype and as well as the function gauge should have a prototype. So prototype means that you can only access the function CLRACR and gauge if you have included the header function which is the ConIO. So it's not just the IO stream, you also have to include the ConIO.h header for your program. So that is the main function of these three lines. I mean, now for the actual program, for the actual example, I am going to use the double data type. Double data type is for numbers that has fraction. When I say fraction, those numbers that has point. This is for example 1.2, 3.5, and those are what we call double. Or we can use the type float for that matter. But in this example, I am going to use the double since I am I like to use double instead of float. So let's say for example we are going to get area, so I will have the C area, the C area uh, variable, and as well as since we are going to have an input, and that input is the diameter of the circle, so we are going to have a variable C diameter with a data type of double. Now below we are going to prompt the user to input the actual size of the diameter of the circle. And then from that diameter, we're going to compute the total area of the square. So by prompting the user, we're going to say enter the diameter of the circle. Okay, and then since there is an input, so we're going to use the cin functionality of the C++, and then let's use the C diameter variable to have that value. And then after doing that, we are now ready to create a formula to compute the actual area of the square of the circle using the input or given diameter. So say area is equal to um, 1 point um, say 1.0 divided by 1 point no 4.0, and then we're going to multiply this divided by 4 because we have at least 4 side of the radius. We're going to divide the circle into 4 parts: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So radius 1, 2, 3, and 4. So by doing that, we are going to have 1 divided by 4, and then multiply that the result of that 1 divided by 4 to the constant of pi, which is the 3.1416. That is the constant value of the pi. And then again, we're going to multiply the result of this multiplication to yet another result of another multiplication of the C diameter, the value of the diameter, by multiplied by itself. So we're going to have this C diameter divided multiplied by C diameter. So we are going to have a display here, which is C out, and then area of the square, area of the circle. The circle is, and then let's have the C area. Maybe by having this, we will solve the warning. Okay, as you can see, we solved the warning. You just need we just need to use the given value of this C area variable. Okay, so let's say if it will compute, so for example 5, it has a total area of 19.635 area of that circle that has a diameter of 5. Now, now this is the thing. We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 lines for computing the diameter, for computing the area of the circle using the given diameter. How about if you are going to use these functions in different parts of the program? So you have a program, a big project which will compute a different given, compute the total area of the circle with given different diameter. Now, can you imagine if you are going to um, redo the code or make another code like here, like this code below? So, for example, if you have 100, um, so if you have 100 computation for the actual area of us at different circles. So, can you imagine doing a program and having to make these different lines of uh, see? So for this example, I have now created a 3 computations for no 4. I guess it's 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 computations for getting the area of a circle using the diameter, uh, and, and it consumes how many lines? Lines of code. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 times, so we have 20 plus the spaces 22, 21, 22, 3. We have 23 lines of code for that, just that computation. Now, pabalik-balik siya, di ba? Nakita nyo? So, mas marami tayong ginamit na lines. And then, ang isa pang result ito, disadvantage ito is, mas lalong magiging mabigat yung program nyo, mas malaki yung kakainin niya na space sa RAM, sa inyong hard disk, o sa inyong ah, memory. Okay? So, sa RAM mismo, mas malaki yung kakainin niya. So, isa yun sa pinaka-disadvantage niya. Other than having to encode or type the entire code for or in which part of the program that you are going to use this formula para mag-compute ng area ng isang circle. No? But if you are going to have this computation in a function, then tatawagan na lang natin yung function na yun. Say for example, I'm going to erase, okay, so I'm going to erase these lines. Okay, so instead of having these computations here inside of the void main method, we're going to create a function for this so that we can call that function in from any part of the program. Okay, first we're going to declare a function of type double, say get area. Oh, I suddenly erased the C out here, so I will return first the C area of the circle is C area. Okay. Now that I have declared a function here, I have to create the actual content of this function right here below the void main. So since I have the name get area there, so I will say uh, double get area, and then we have here double say for example C area, and then the C diameter. So I'm going to remove these lines here now because I already transferred that to the code below, and then we are going to create it will going to transfer this computation. Okay, we're going to transfer this computation below. So say cut that one and then paste it here, and then return C area. Okay, so what we're going to do now is have another input here. So, for example, double x initial 0. So let's have here the x, and then we shall say instead of having a C area here, we'll be having the get area and then C. And then since we're going to remove this because we only need the diameter, okay. Oh, I identified symbol C. Ano, X. Okay. Still few parameters and call to get okay. So I forgot to remove the other double here. We only need one because we only need to compute the area of the circle using the diameter. Parameters and diameters never use. Oops. I need to, or shall we say, return. Am I allowed to do that? Okay. Here, as you can see, so I've created a function called getArea and then have a parameter here. So this double C diameter is what we call the parameter. So it will serve as the bridge or the receiving variable to from the input. So in the code above, as you can see, we prompted the user to input or enter the diameter of the circle, and then let's have it into the variable x, the save the value to the variable x, and then we call the getArea function here, giving the value of the x, and then that value from x variable x is the one that we enter when program run. Then from the keyboard, we tag the number, we put it into the variable x, and then from that variable x, we call the getArea function and then transfer the value of x into the uh, variable c diameter. Now, using that value that is transferred into the c diameter, we're going to compute now the actual area of the circle using its diameter, and then have it return. Since we have this function return here, or the keyword return, it will return the result into this cout above. So imagine this, if you have um, different, if you need to compute the area of a square or no of a circle using its diameter from any point of your program. So you have this large program, and then you need to call a function that will compute a diameter or compute the area of a circle using its diameter. So you only have this. You only have to call this function, this specific code, getArea, and then transfer the actual value of the diameter that is needed to compute the function. And as you can see, it still gives us the result. Okay. For example, we need to have another enter another uh, diameter of a circle. Okay, say for example this one, and then we can always have the x, and then I'll just copy this one to minimize the time of encoding. Okay, so let's run this one. Enter the diameter of a circle, is for example 5, and then enter another, let's say about 4, and then it will give us a different result. So to make it clear, I will put a next line here. Okay, so first 5, and then let's have 4. As you can see, it gives us a different area computation, but I did not repeat this line of code above. I just repeat these 3 lines. As you can see, I have minimized the number of lines. If this is the old code, it will consume as 5 plus 5, it will have 10, 11. So including the space, we will have 11 we'll have 11 lines of code. But now, as you can see, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. And then if we have another here, right here, and then so we have minimized the number of lines in our code. So mas konti na lang yung code. So lagi kong sinasabi sa mga previous lectures ko, the lesser the code, better. The smaller the code, better. Okay? So hindi mo kailangan ng sobrang taas na code to solve a problem. You have to minimize the lines of code. In that case, mas madali siyang basahin, mas madali siyang intindihin, at mas magaan siya sa inyong RAM. Kasi mas maliit yung gagamitin niya na space. So again, I will repeat, the use of function is to chop the the instructions of a program in solving a problem using programming. In, for example, in bigger projects, instead of having that code rewritten, yung ita-type mo ulit, ita-type mo ulit, ita-type mo ulit kasi nga gagamitin mo sa part na to, so magta-type ulit ng code. Ganito kataas yung code, tapos ganito yung kataas yung code, tapos the next few lines, kailangan naman siyang gamitin, so magta-type ka naman ulit ng ganitong kataas na code. So instead na ganun yung mangyari, gumamit na lang ng function. Mas mapadali, mas mapakunti yung lines of codes. Okay? So, tawagan mo na lang yung function. And then also, this one here, itong double diameter na to, ang tawag dito is parameter. So we have the function type, which is the double, or we can have int or void or any, just like this one, the void main. So this is the type, the void. And then after that function type, we have the function name. The function name, we can always decide on the function name depende dun sa ano ba ang gamit ng function na yan. So we are going to be very specific para mas madali siyang intindihin. Itong code na pala ito is, itong function na pala ito is magko-compute siya ng area. So ang purpose niya is to compute an area. So, mas madali siyang maintindihan. So, we're going to decide on this one. We have to be smart on deciding the name of the function. And then, itong nasa loob naman ng parenthesis na to is yung tinatawag nating parameter. So, ito yung magiging pinaka-declaration nyo ng code ng variable na gagamitin nyo inside that function. So, halimbawa, kailangan nyo ng input. So, this function is having a parameter, a single parameter, which is the C diameter with the data type double, yung fraction na number. Kasi nga, kailangan natin siya dito sa loob para sa computation. Ito yung magre-receive, ito yung tatanggap ng value na ipapasa natin mula sa input ng user. So, kung wala itong sa C diameter na parameter, na double with the data type function, hindi magpo-function itong formula natin ito na C diameter times C diameter. So, kailangan natin yan. Ilan bang parameter ang pwede natin ibutan sa isang function? Depende yun sa kung ilan yung kailangan mong input or ipasa na value. Halimbawa, kailangan mong dalawang value yung ipasa mo. So, pwede. Let's say, instead of having an area, we're going to have a summation of 3 numbers. Say for example, i-change natin tong pangalan na to, so get sum, kasi nga magsa-sum up siya ng tatlong number. So let's say, gawin natin A, B, and C. And then, magpa-prompt tayo sa user. So sabihin natin na mag-input siya ng tatlong number. So, input 3 numbers. And then, by doing that, we have just a shortcut. Kailangan nating lagyan ng tatlong CN dito. Ayan, C in E and B and then C in C. And then after that, since ginawa natin git sum dun sa taas, gawin din natin git sum dito sa baba. And then, since double yung ginamit natin dun sa itaas, so double din magiging value dito. So, ganoon pa rin. For example, XYZ. So, C, and then double XY, and then double XY and Z. So, then, uh, we will going to have a summation code here. Say, for example, let's say x plus y plus z, and then we're going to see out the actual output here. The sum of the given three numbers is, and then dito natin ilalagay yung pagtawag dun sa function natin na get sum, and then pasa natin yung value ng A, ng B, at saka ng C. Extra parameter. So double A, B, C, get sum double X, Y, and Z. So we are going to have a 3 double here also. Kasi tatlo yung kailangan natin dito sa ibaba, tatlo yung double na parameter, and then tatlo yung ipapasa natin. So kailangan din natin na tatlo yung nandito sa pag-declare ng function. So halimbawa, 5, 3, 6, and 4. So we have 15 in total, as you can see. So it doesn't matter kung isa, dalawa, tatlo yung parameter na gagamitin mo sa function. As long as kailangan mo doon sa computation sa loob ng function. So you can have 1, 2, or 3, or at least any amount of parameter na kailangan mo doon sa function. Basta ang lagi mo lang isipin doon, bakit gumamit ng function is to listen the code, the lines of code. Mas mapadali yung mas mapagaan yung program, and then mas madali siyang basahin, mas madaling intindihin. Na itong specific na function pala ito ay magko-compute ng discount. Halimbawa, gumawa ka ng cash sharing na program. Ito magko-compute ng discount. Ito magko-compute ng total na babayarin. Ito magko-compute ng ilan yung magiging sukli. Diba? So, ito magko-compute ng report para sa buong araw na kita ng specific na station. Yung sa mall, different station yun. Yung sa mga cashier. So, halimbawa may 10 cashier doon. So, 10 yung station. So, different stations has different reports after the day. So, yun. Gawan mo yun ng tigi-isang function. So, yun yung purpose nun. Okay. So, that's all for this day about the topic function of the C++ computer programming language. Also, this function is not only applicable for C++, but it can be used with other programming language like Java and any other available programming language in the market. So I hope you have learned something today, and thank you so much.